Okay, our next one's really fun and definitely sparks some creativity. And there's a lot of different little things that you can do with it. And it's little witches that we're gonna make. And so for the glue, you're gonna wanna use either a traditional icing in a can. You can make your own royal icing with the meringue powder that I absolutely love. The almond bark, which works as a great glue, especially if you're using it with little kids and it's really inexpensive and it hardens, pretty fast. The head is going to be made out of little marshmallows. The face, for the nose, I like to either use pumpkin seeds or just these fun little jelly beans. You can use little tiny, the little mini chocolate morsels for the eyes. You can also use something like markers to draw the face on the marshmallow. And then for the brim of the hat, you can use either the fudge striped little cookies. You can even use the fun little orange Oreos. And then for the tip of the hat, the Hershey's Kisses work great. Then you can get a little creative and you can dye your hair green with coconut, dye the coconut green for your hair. And then the tips make it a whole lot easier just to be able to spread everything on there and glue everything together. But you don't have to use bags and tips. These are just throwaway bags. I've got a couple of different tips here and then I've got my permanent bags. So let's have some fun. Okay, so I love to use these little food edible writers just because you can do a lot of things with these, not only on fun things like marshmallows, but on cookies and stuff too. So I just made just some little goofy, just little faces here, just the eyes. You can do different little shaped eyes if you want. And then the next thing that you want to do is you want to go ahead and melt your almond bark or have your icing ready, your royal icing. Royal icing or almond bark really works the best with these just because it works as a really good glue. Okay, so here's where the fun starts. So I also took some little googly eyes and used the almond bark to glue the eyes on there so they glue pretty quick. So let's go ahead and take a little jelly bean nose. So again, you just kind of dab it just a tiny bit in that almond bark. And for things like the nose, like that one looks like it has a little wart. For things like the nose, you'll kind of need to kind of turn it on its side and just give it a second to harden. Just a little bit. See if we can get him to stay there, which is what I did with these guys already. So here's another one. Like I can do this one with a little pumpkin seed. So you just take the little pumpkin seed, kind of shove it in there, get the little pointy end here, and just kind of shove that in there for that kind of a nose. So if you wanted to give him some hair, give your witch some hair, take your same almond bark and just kind of paint it on there. Like again, there's no wrong on this one. And what I did already ahead of time was I took some coconut and just took some of the icing dye and put it in the bag with the coconut and then just shook it around. So if you just put it on the plate and then you just kind of roll it on there, so you can give her any color hair that you want. I just kind of picked green. All right, so there's our hair on that one. And then we've got our eyes and stuff on that one. So when it comes to the hat, you can do a whole bunch of different little things. So if you don't have any icing bags, it's not a big deal. If you take the almond bark and you put in the icing dye, it becomes real malleable. It kind of hardens a little bit, but it kind of becomes like Play-Doh. So you can even take this and mold this into the nose. You can mold this into the little eyes, anything like that, just because it becomes real malleable. So don't worry about it if you don't have an icing bag, because what I did with these is I just put a little bit of that malleable icing on here. Again, just to kind of make it as the glue. Stuck it right here in the middle. Grabbed myself a little hat and then just shoved it on. And so it just depends upon how much you want on there. You can make it sticks out, you can make it to where it's not. So just kind of some fun. So did the same thing with the little Oreo cookie that I already had. You could also just use the top of the cookie and not the icing in the bottom part. So would love to know, do you guys love the icing or do you love the cookie? Which one? All right, so now we've got a couple of them with their hair on there. Let's do one more. Let's get one more with some hair on here. So again, I'm just gonna kind of paint this on here like this. Whoops. There we go. And then we'll roll that into our green coconut. All right, so now we're ready to do some more of the hats. So the way that I did this little hat is I just took a little cookie and took my little almond bark glue, stuck it on there, grabbed my little Hershey's Kiss, and put it on top. So now you can take your royal icing, or even regular icing, that I just mixed up and put in this little bag, and I have just a little tiny little flower tip. Now I do not, I would not say that I am any kind of a cake decorator by any means. I just loved to have fun with food, and I love to have fun with food with my kids. So, so there's that little hat. All right, so now we're ready to put this little hat. We're gonna wait because that one doesn't have any hair yet. So now again, you can take the same almond bark or royal icing, put it right here on the top. Just a little dab will do ya. Put it on, and there you have your little witch.